So I have fixed my complete insomnia naturally, and in this video I'm gonna give you the most common reason why you wake up in the middle of the night. And by the way, believe me, I know this is a super frustrating issue, especially if you can't fall asleep again. I mean, I always used to have terrible sleep. So a few years ago, I would be addicted to video games, I had blurry vision, I would have no concentration, and I would be yawning dozens of times per day because I was just so tired. And I remember a very particular night where I woke up because I had to pee. And I would already notice when I basically stood up that something was a little off. Like I could feel that I had a lot of concentration and energy that I would normally during the day not have. And so I went through my corridor and looked at the time. So basically we had an oven with a digital timer on there. And I would look at the time and be really shocked. It was like 3 a.m. or something. But that wasn't the reason why I was so shocked. I was so shocked because when I looked at the time, I saw the time crystal clear. Like I always thought, because I had this for months and months, that my eyes were just sort of fucked and that I needed glasses. But when I looked at the time, I was like, I don't have any vision issues. But I kind of asked myself in that moment, like, why do I see it so clear? And like during the day, I always see everything blurry. So it went on, like I would basically lie down again and I just couldn't fall asleep. Like I was so awake and I had a lot of creative thoughts. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't fall asleep again, you can probably relate to that. You get a lot of creative thoughts and your thoughts are super good and you have high concentration. And honestly, this first of all sounds super great, but it was super frustrating because guess what? I would fall asleep at some point again, but in the morning I would wake up and guess what? My vision was blurry again, I had no concentration and I felt tired again. And I just wish that I could feel like during the day, like I felt during the night. And what I found out later through long, exhausting research is that my biorhythm was completely shifted. And this is where all of these issues came from. So guess what? All those creative thoughts, for example, that you get during the night, it's not just you and me that have this kind of problem or this thing going on. There's actually a biologic process behind that I'm not going to get into now because it's too complex, but there's a reason for that. And let me tell you this, it's not a very good sign, just like that you're awake during the night. And basically, what my big problem was that we have a rhythm inside of us. It's called circadian rhythm. This is just kind of like your internal clock. And this internal clock should match the time outside. But my internal clock was completely off and it was so shifted that during the night I got cortisol spikes way too early. So there are a few reasons why you could wake up in the middle of the night. And it usually comes down to either your cortisol spiking too early, because basically you should have a cortisol spike in the morning and then you already have it in the night. Because the real reason behind that is that your biorhythm is sort of so messed up that your morning starts before the actual morning starts, or sometimes even your noon program, your biologic program for noon, starts in the middle of the night when you should actually be sleeping. This is sort of the mismatch that's really going on here. And so it could either be because of cortisol spiking too early, or you just not producing enough melatonin to get through the night. And usually it's even a mix of that because they kind of influence each other, and it really all comes back to the biorhythm that I talked about. Now, why is this happening? Why is your clock off? This usually never comes down to something being actually wrong inside of you, but actually your environment, specifically your light environment. So light can change our rhythm, and it has always done that. So when you think about it, thousands of years ago, the only light that humans used to have was the sun, fire, and maybe the moon a little bit that reflects the light. And these days we have LEDs, monitor, smartphone. I mean, even the device that you're using to currently see me, that is light. And this changes your biorhythm. So your rhythm is really this messed up because of your light. This is what my problem was, and this is also how I fixed it. And this is the problem for millions and millions of people out there. Because did you know that 12% of Americans already have chronic insomnia? And we are really talking about sort of the worst cases here. Like almost everyone has sleeping problems. And it makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because now we are using these devices so much more, and it's well documented in the science that this has an effect on our biology, specifically our sleep. Now what you're basically going to have to do to fix this is get extremely strict with your light, especially when it comes to blue light and especially when it comes to the evening. And by the way, I have a free course on blocking blue light that you can check out after this video. It's linked in the video description. This is basically how you protect your rhythm. And then you also need to reset it again, because there are like long-term effects that you're currently experiencing. And the way to do this is just using more natural light. So don't sit too much in front of your monitors and all that. Just go outside and use the natural light. It's gonna have an effect on you. Another reason why you could have these problems with waking up in the middle of the night are actually blood sugar issues. Now, in terms of that, this is almost always connected to you having to pee. Now, I'm gonna say with the light, it can cause you having to go to the toilet in the night, and you can sometimes also not have it. But almost everyone nowadays has this light problem, and it's even connected to the blood sugar issues. So be very careful here not to just lean too much on that, but I do want to talk about it. Because if you have blood sugar issues, something like prediabetes, or it could just be that you ate too much sugar in the evening, then basically your blood sugar is going to be unstable. You get rid of some sugar through the urine, and this almost always wakes you up. This is why a lot of diabetics can have problems with their sleep, because they have to stand up in the middle of the night and they have to pee. Now basically I also used to have blood sugar issues and got rid of them, but this is too case specific to really give you some advice here. So something anyone can do to basically reduce blood sugar spikes in the night is just making sure that you have some kind of protein in your last meal, and also reducing your meal size. So this will be the first thing. If you're just eating too much in the evening, then that's going to be the first thing. Just consume smaller meals, but also make sure that there's some protein in there. Now you don't want to go like super crazy on the protein, because protein is hard to digest, and that's nothing that you should eat like right before going to bed. But you should have some protein in there, because that's basically going to stabilize your blood sugar during the night. So it could be a small piece of a steak or something. Just make sure that you're not just eating carbs or something. Alright, that's it for this video. Make sure to check out my free blue blocking course, and if you need more help, then get in closer contact to me via the links in the video info. See you there.